Hey everyone, and welcome to Phantom Games and Tech. Today, I'm running some benchmarking tests on the 4K Phantom at the request of one of my viewers. I hadn't intended to do any benchmarking because I'm not sure it tells me much this early in my tenure as PC builder. But I'm glad I did because it's motivated me now to get more hands-on and consider overclocking and buying that water cooler that I had planned on. Just to recap, the 4K Phantom has the Intel Core i7 6700K processor and the ASUS STRIX GeForce GTX 1080, running on the ASUS Z170 Pro Gaming Aura motherboard. I'll be sure to include links to all the components discussed in this video in the description below if you'd like to buy one. Doing so from one of those links supports my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Now, let's get on with the benchmarking. I first ran Cinebench R15 with nothing running, including the screen video capture to get a baseline for the build. The results were right where you would expect the processor and GPU. The GPU came in at 140 frames per second and the CPU at a Cinebench score of 899. After that, I decided to run the same test 2 more times, once with the video recording and once with the video recording while also having some benchmarking software at the same time. Here you can see my first run with the video recording, and the Cinebench score came in at 138 frames per second for the GPU. And now it's rendering up for the CPU test. And yes, if you're wondering, I did accelerate this a little bit so it didn't take quite as long for you as it did for me when it actually recorded. There you have it, 878 Cinebench score for the CPU. Now we'll do the same thing with some additional benchmarking software running simultaneously. Here you can check the temperatures of the CPU and the temperature of the GPU while the tests are being ran. You'll see a slight degradation in both the frames per second and the CPU score. Well, there you have it. A Cinebench score of 127 frames per second and 870 on the CPU. Now what I've done here is I've used the Grand Theft Auto benchmarking tool to demonstrate how the quality of the gaming processing degrades as I increase the requirements of the GPU by increasing the graphic fidelity. I start with 1080 at the original recommended levels. I then increase it to 1440, then to 4K, and finally I max everything out. And what you're going to see is you're going to see frame rates vary from 1080 at 187 frames per second to as little as 20 frames per second when everything's maxed out at 4K. I'm going to let you just sit back, relax, and enjoy some of this, and I'll be back in a bit. what you can see here is I'm going through it. I'm picking the final settings that max everything out as much as possible. I'm going to flip over to the advanced graphics here in just a second, and when I do, it's going to start turning yellow and now red, as you can see on the settings. So here we go. 4K max settings that I could even launch it with, and here's what you get: 30 frames per second, 40 frames per second, 25 frames per second. I have to tell you guys that this video really doesn't do it justice, because when I was playing through this live, there were screen tears all over the place and it was a whole mess. So maybe calling this the 4K Phantom, at least in respects to maxed out graphics on GTA 5, is a little overzealous. But we'll see how the gameplay goes going forward. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to my channel and like this video if you do, and if you don't, well, you know what to do. I'll be back soon with some gameplay footage, and you know what? I'm going to pick up that NZXT Kraken X62. Yeah, I think that water cooler will do us some good. So I'll be installing that soon, and I'll do another video then. Until then, look out for me on twitch.tv/PhantomGNT, or follow me on Twitter at PhantomGNT as well. So long.